All right, so we were just talking about the three different subatomic particles. But now when you think about chemicals, you might think of something like water. And you'd say, I know the chemical formula of water. Or maybe you say, sometimes when people talk about water, they don't call it water, they call it H2O. And by the way, you do know the chemical formula of water if you know that. And so what is a chemical formula? A chemical formula is just a way to tell what atoms are present in a molecule. So we have some examples of chemical formulas that you might know. You might know water. We had said water, that's one a lot of people know. You might know oxygen gas. And so water is, first of all, before I leave water, let's say H2O. What are we saying? We're saying that H2 means you have two atoms of hydrogen, and the O, since there's no number next to it, it means there's only one. So you have H2O, that just means there are two hydrogens combined with an oxygen. And then we have oxygen gas, and that's two oxygen atoms combined together. And then we have something else, carbon dioxide, and that's CO2. So that means one carbon and two oxygens, and that's what it is. Now we have a sort of a way of displaying this information in a more meaningful manner, and that would be something called the structural formula. And a structural formula shows the shape of the molecule. Molecules, atoms, take up space and have a shape. So if we talk about this water, and we had said it's two hydrogens and one oxygen, we can look at what it looks like, and it organizes itself in this weird kind of manner where you have a hydrogen here connected to an oxygen. And if you were to measure this angle, it would be 105 degrees. I mean, chemists, they study that kind of thing. So we know that. And down here, we say we've got two oxygens connected, and again here, oxygen, carbon, oxygen, and they're kind of straight like that. Now, you might be saying, how are you sticking those atoms together? And so we need to talk about the electrons just a little bit more so we can understand chemical bonding. That's what this is. This is showing chemical bonds, and it all relates to those three different kinds of subatomic particles, and especially the electrons. Now, before I move to the next video, I want to talk about one of these atoms. And so we had said, in your mind, you can envision, I know you can envision an atom. And we had said in the middle, you have that ball, that is the nucleus, and then flying around the outside, you have the electrons. Now, if you think about that middle part, it's really tiny, but if we decide that we're going to scale it up to something that you can relate to, you could say maybe a ping pong ball or a golf ball. So if this thing is the size of a ping pong ball or a golf ball, you know how close those electrons would be? You won't guess it unless you read it. Maybe you read it in your book. 1,000 meters away. So there's a lot of empty space in an atom. If the nucleus is the size of a ping pong ball, it's across town where the nearest electron is, 1 kilometer away. So what does this mean with reference to this chemical bonding? What it means is when two atoms come together, it's not the nucleus. What's going to interact are electrons. And so we have to think about the electrons out there buzzing around and bumping into electrons from somebody else. All right, I'll come back and talk about that.